Welcome to the interactive body balance radio show for health and fitness tips.
Oh, here we go. Welcome back to Interactive Body Balance Radio. I'm your host, Mike Daciuk, and thank you guys so much for joining our show today from around the world, where we talk health, fitness, nutrition, functional medicine, and personal development. The show is going to air on October 18th, 2022. Hope you're having a great fall so far. I know we are. We're always busy. I say this every show. Lots of corporate work, traveling all over the place, on the road again tomorrow. Lots of, medical and coaching clients that we're working with just to get them to their optimal levels and feeling good. It's what we do. It's what we love to do. And things are great. Of course, I know I have to give you guys an update on the family because it's just who we are. But the kids are in Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu. We have horses that they ride. Hockey's kicked in full gear for Caden and Caleb. It's crazy. Gracie's doing Ukrainian dancing. Swimming lessons. It's just dry land training. I can't keep up, folks. And, we're blessed. I wouldn't have it any other way, especially with the last 2 years of so much, isolation and stuff. It's the greatest things for the kids to be together, being, friends and just having fun. Just having fun. People need people. I've always said it. We're energy. We're human beings full of energy, and we need it. So it's great to see. So why am I doing today's show? It's really, really late, and it's been already a 14-hour workday. So I want to talk about something called methylation. We're going to touch on genetics a bit in health. And why? Because, I've always said, and I've done maybe one show on this, maybe two over the last 6 years, so not many, but we do check for it in people's labs. And it's important because when you look at people's genes, and you look at, methylation, which we'll get to in a second, and what it is, it's kind of like, it's the process, right, that you're born with. You're born with these genes, your DNA, and you say it loads the gun, and then, I don't like that terminology, but I'll give it anyhow, and then, your lifestyle, your food, your working out pulls the trigger. So your genetics matter, folks, and especially if you've been dealt not a great hand, you need to know what's going on. So we've run many tests, labs in the past, and we look at it and we see what's going on with your genes and your genetics. But methylation we can determine too by looking at, a hormone panel. We can look at through many different blood labs, etc. So what is methylation? It's a biochemical process in which methyl groups, so CH3, or one carbon atom and three hydrogen atoms, are transferred from one molecule to another. Billions of times per day it happens, and it happens and it powers the cells and the different organs in your body. What does methylation do to the DNA? As a metabolic process, it basically turns those genes I was just telling you about on and off and repairs DNA. Huge. This is big because it can influence many aspects of your health, including, one's risk for diseases, neurological issues, cancers, etc. So within the human body, methylation plays a role. DNA expression, cellular energy production, neurotransmitter synthesis, hormone production, as I said before, because I've run labs to look at people's, methylation. Are they, what's their methylation status look like? Looking at some of their genes, which I'll get to in a second. Conversion of amino acids like homocysteine into methionine. Nutrients, from one diet into active vitamins and minerals, right? So what you may take in as a nutrient or a vitamin undergoes a process of methylation and it impacts your body in a different way. And again, I'll get to that. I don't want to ruin it here, but it's responsible for fat metabolism, stress response, etc. Also, allows the body to make a number of other important molecules like melatonin, norepinephrine, serotonin, coenzyme Q10, glutathione, that's antioxidant, nitric oxide, that's for your blood vessels, cysteine, taurine. It's really, really important. So just think, metabolic process that switches genes on and off, repairs DNA, and using lots of different things. So just think methylation, very important. I always say to clients when I present to them, right? And we're talking about, the molecules, and I go deep at first, and then I say, okay, one carbon atom, three hydrogen, attaches to a molecule, it impacts how other things happen in your body, to a different protein. Very, very important, right? And it's hard to understand and because it does happen so many times, like billions of times, like I said, a day, but it's really important and you need to check it, and then you need to check the genes, which I'm going to tell you about in a second too. And again, helpful in absorbing nutrients, looking at different things, preventing, improving health, energy, mood, brain. Got people that have these issues. I'm going to look at their genes. I'm going to look at their methylation. I'm going to see how well they're doing. Okay. Now let's talk about a couple of genes, and especially stuff that's involved. MTHFR. I've talked about metrotetrahydrofolate reductase. That's a lot. It's a big acronym. And I've just looked at mine. And I posted on Instagram. So if you guys go to Instagram, you can see my MTHFR, printout, right, from Utrans, from the DNA company. So I put it there. And if I have any mutations of that gene, I don't. But 44% of people do, right? Processes folic acid. It's the most abundant nutrient in the world. Getting a lot of attention. And again, genetic mutation that could lead to high levels of homocysteine in the blood, low levels of folate. Main function is to provide your body with instructions, creating the MTHR protein, helps your body, like I said, produce folate. It's a B vitamin necessary to create DNA. Okay? So when you look at this, and if they have a mutation in the MTHFR gene, and they can't process certain vitamins, especially folic acid, very well, you got to do different things to help them. They are not necessarily going to be able to, process certain foods that are high in folic acid. They're not going to be able to do a lot of things, and then hence they're going to have low energy. They're going to have issues with other things, like I said, maybe mood disorders. Very, very important to look at your MTHFR gene, and if you have a mutation, then we can help you work through it, like methylfolate. There's methyl B12. There's certain things you can do to improve it. So check your genes, check to see if you have this mutation. Really helpful, and then there's a way you can do it. Another one, and these are getting a lot of press recently because of many people are now turning to this to find out what their genes are like and if they have these mutations and if it's impacting their actual health, right? MTR, responsible for making an important enzyme involved in metabolism, utilization of B12. I looked at my report again to see what that was like. B12 is not found in fruits and vegetables. It's animal derived and works with B9 folate to assist with cellular methylation. It's essential for optimal protein metabolism, red blood cell production, function, neuromuscular function. Check to see if you have a mutation in the MTR gene. Very important. MTRR, different. Okay? That one there, enzyme which interacts with methionine synthase to ensure continued production of essential amino acid methionine, and it's encoded by the MTR gene. Methionine, essential amino acid, required for numerous processes throughout the body. Converts homocysteine to methionine using the 5-MTHF produced by the MTHFR gene as a methyl donor. Again, I don't want to get too much science in here, folks. Just think of very important, helpful with your B vitamins, helpful with methionine. You get the point. All right, fourth one here, AHCY gene. We look at this here as well. It's an enzyme involved in many processes in breaking down protein. Again, about methionine, it helps control different parts of your body. Compounds like adenosine and homocysteine. Major role in regulating the addition of methyl groups. Again, I'm getting a lot of science here, so I know I'm losing people. But look at this gene, see if you have an issue, and go from there. Another one, the COMT gene, the last one I'll talk about here. Responsible for metabolizing neurotransmitters in the brain with emotion, pleasure, fear, anxiety. Breaks down estrogens and dopamine. If it doesn't work, it can cause estrogens to build up, and you don't want that, folks. Look at your COMT gene. You can see it in the Dutch panel. You can see it in that DNA company's Utrans lab. I looked at my COMT gene. So important, provides so many instructions, with the enzymes. An estimated 20 to 30% of Caucasians have a COMT gene variation, which limits the body's ability to remove catechols. That's a molecule that includes dopamine, norepinephrine, estrogen by 3 to 4 times. Deficiency in COMT gene, folks, going to have issues potentially with estrogens building up. Super helpful. I could go into cortisol and what it means. Get your genes checked because then there's ways you can improve it. Okay? A couple more notes on, because the effects that COMT has on hormones, it directly affects the stress, the reactivity, the health, and the well-being. Interesting, people with the gene experience both negative and positive emotions. And again, there's different things on neuroticism and neurotic and stuff like that. I got studies here in front of me I'm looking at, but I know you guys are probably getting bored with it, so I'll leave it alone. So what do I want you to derive from this? Very deep podcast on the science of methylation, genetics, and how important it is. And I say this because these genes, right, you need to know where you're at. And once you know where you're at, then you need to know if you have deficiencies or mutations in your genes. And then if you know that, then you can do things completely differently to get the most out of your body, your vitamins, your minerals, your nutrients. And it could be just switching up your food, switching up your supplements, and it can make a world of difference. Because if you are clogged up and you are not methylating properly, and you are having buildup of certain hormones or neurotransmitters, then you are not going to feel good. End of story. And we can check for that. We can look for that. I've done it hundreds of times, and I just want to share it with you guys. So, hope I haven't lost you. Google methylation, Google hormones, Google, your genetics, Google some, genes that play a role. Like I said, the MTHFR gene, I've talked about it, 5-6 years ago. So this is not new to me, but when I'm seeing it over and over again now, and people are not processing certain things well, and like I just said, folic acid, it's important that you can adjust and pivot. Okay? All right. And again, if you guys want to run a lab, just reach out to me. I can send you the links. You can email info@MikeDaciuk.com. So interactivebodybalance.com, MikeDaciuk.com. You guys can reach out anytime. We do get back to you even late at night, like tonight, right? So with that being said, folks, website, already said. Books, The Transformation from Within. I was on a business call today, and I was talking to a gentleman. It's funny, he did his research on me. He goes, Mike, I didn't know you wrote 2 books. He goes, then I didn't know you're a nutritionist and you do all this stuff and you're a functional medicine practitioner. I don't talk about it much just because it is what it is. You'll find out if you want to find out, but we did write the 2 books, The Transformation from Within and How to Restore Your Health. You can find them online, and they're free. You can go from there. So that's what I want to say too. And you know what I'm going to say to my kids. So to my kids, and I know one is still up at this hour. I say to my kids every day, folks. Number 1, you got to work hard. No substitute for hard work. You got to put in the reps. You got to do the work in. You just have to work. You have to do the work. Number 2, you have to add value to the world. Every one of you listening to this has got a unique skill set. You got to add that to the world. We need to hear what you're good at. We need to see what you're good at. Number 3, you got to help other people. Go to your way to pull chairs, open doors, give your time. You got to help other people, folks. I always said, we volunteer. We give to charity. We try our best to make an effort. I'd love to give millions away. We're not there yet, but we give a lot of money to people in need. And people listening to this know that because we'll continue to do so. Number 4, got to smile and have some fun. If you work so much and you're always helping other people, but you don't take time for yourself, you're gonna have a lot of disdain. You're gonna say, what's this world really about? Is it too much work? So have that fun. Okay? With passion, live with purpose, live with intent. I hope you like the show. If you want to get tested for your genes, and sorry folks, a little more than the 23andMe. There's many great labs out there. You can get tested and find out where you're at and then adjust accordingly. Just reach out to the office, like I said, and we can send you the stuff to go do it. I've had mine done, and some family members too, to find out where they're at. And I'll continue to improve because science is evolving and always getting better and better and better. But you got to know your data points. Okay? I'll say it again. Live with passion, live with purpose, live with intent. Have yourselves a great day, and we'll talk to you real soon.